Hello, everybody, and welcome to In Search of the Mysterious Mavic 4 Pro. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Let me see if I did something wrong. Can you all hear me out there in TV land? Or am I talking into the wind? I'll know here in a moment. Let me see. Let's see what it says over here. Can anybody hear me? Check, check. Can anybody hear me?
I could hear you.
Okay, good, good, good. Just making sure. He was making me worried for a minute. I was like, oh no, I've done messed up and hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello and welcome to In Search of the Mysterious Mavic 4 Pro. As we all know, if anybody watched Johnny's show earlier when Billy was on there as a guest and Ray was helping him out there as a co-host, if you noticed that Billy was kind of like, he was like kind of fishing Mavic 4 Pro questions off. He's like, seeing these pictures means it's got to be close. It's got to be close. And I really think because he's talking about going, and he always seems to go up north into the snow when he's going to test a new drone. At least I've noticed that. It just seems that means that there's a pattern there. I don't know who could be there. Who could be? What do you think, Dre?
Uh, you know what? With me, DJI is doing like always, the Apple game, incremental improvements, updates, and I, I I'll let Ron handle it. Ron is more the enthusiast of knowing all the specs and everything else. So since he's here, I'll let him divulge all the juicy details.
Hello, Dre. Bill, how are you guys tonight? Welcome everybody out in the chats. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I'll jump right off of Dre's question, and I'll actually up the question a little bit to the panel here. Um, I'm really not seeing anything for the Mavic 4 that doesn't look like an incremental upgrade over the Mavic 3. I mean, people complain about the Air 3 SB incremental upgrades. This looks like the same incremental upgrade train. The camera's slightly better, battery life
Mhm.
slightly better. It gets a few rumors claim that it has what do you call full res vertical video. That's probably the least required feature from most of the people I know in the drone community. They need full res vertical video, whatever, because we all know when you post vertical video to TikTok and Instagram is 1080p anyways, so you can easily crop a 4K video into a vertical and make it a 1080p that looks nice.
Well, my question on that, Ron, is one of the things I was looking at is the camera flipping 90 degrees, or is it just cropping, or you can crop it in?
I
No,
think it's
no,
a
no
crop.
nobody mentions that in their
I think
league.
it's a crop. I really do.
Al does it.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
my first thing I said. Because first it was a big thing about when I think it was the Air 2S's or whatever, and the camera was flipping 9 degrees to give you the vertical look. And now they're talking about you can still get it, but they're not telling you what the camera's doing.
Yeah, my guess would be, Dre, that supposedly this is 6K, so they're probably going to say you can shoot it 6K, and even when you crop to that vertical, it's still 4K,
Yeah, that
which
could be
which
it.
could be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get these numbers mixed up all the time, but like they say, like even the drones that are 5 point something K, 5.3 to
Hmm.
5.4, whatever you say, or like the GoPro Hero cameras that are 5.3K, they say that when you could punch in one time and still be at 4K when you're
Right.
shooting in 5K.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the big thing is when you upload it to another platform, it's going to compress it down to wherever their format is.
Yeah, until they have social media sites that let you download and actually broadcast 4K vertical video. I
Mhm.
mean, that's probably so far down the road that we'll have our next set of drones anyways at that point. So why worry about on drones right now?
Oh, Johnny says he thinks it flips. I'm catching up with the chat.
Okay,
Johnny said
Okay.
he
Billy
thinks
Well,
probably
it
told him
flips.
that
I have not heard that, but I'm
backstage.
going to tell y'all something. I think we're all missing something here, really. I
Okay,
posted a video in Coast to Coast Drones. It's a guy, he's not a drone guy. He's normally a camera guy, and he likes doing minor, little bit of video stuff and a little bit of photography stuff. And that's kind of where he does his bread and butter. But he's really into the Mavic 4 Pro
okay.
because I think he might be onto something because he thinks there's going to be a Mavic 4 Pro It's going to have, what is it, 512 gigabytes of internal storage. And then there's going to be a Mavic 4 Pro Cine with 3 terabytes in it. Okay. And then the Mavic 4 Pro is going to run, what is the the Apple ProRes?
ProRes.
But
Uh-huh.
there's two different numbers,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
supposedly the Cine's going to run the
ProRes
new.
422 is the one we commonly use.
Yeah, and
Right.
okay, yeah, there you go. And then now supposedly the Cine now is going to run the brand new one, which is even bigger and more flamboyant with more numbers and more asterisks and everything. You know.
Well,
So
I just
That's
think
that's
that
the
that
three
just goes in the
terabyte
same.
internal storage.
Yeah, that just goes on the
terabyte.
same pattern as with the three, where it had the three cine had what 2 terabyte, was it 1 or 2 terabyte at the city model,
I
and it had
forget.
the Apple Pro Res. So I mean, it would naturally fall in the same pattern with the four. I'm just saying, like Ron was saying, it's my thing is if I own the three cine, what would be the big I gotta have the four that I can't do with the three? Even at the three classic, what does the three classic uh don't have
You
that
got
this
the
four plane
link.
is gonna have? That I just gotta have it. That's gonna change my life.
I think for
Right,
me
because
personally, it
supposedly
would be an upgrade.
the sensor size will be the same, so you're
Right.
not you may get a new sensor, but won't necessarily be getting a bigger sensor.
Hmm.
But
So
the other two combination, and here's something I wanted to point out: DJI may very well be coming out with the more expensive drones to begin with this time, instead of saturating the,
like it should be.
yeah, and get people to buy those, and
Hmm.
then come out with the cheaper ones, or really kind of like probably no more than 2 or 3 months later. But then they're going to
Hmm.
come out with them to get in under the whistle. But I think they're going to come out with the more expensive drones first, instead of giving us because I've said and you've said and we've all pointed out, there's been absolutely no pictures of this so-called Mavic 4 alone. I mean, are we
Uh,
see?
I
Go
haven't
ahead.
seen it. I mean, I haven't. Well, like I said, none of the reviewers can show it because they're under NDAs, like Ron. But all these supposed to be leaks, which I highly doubt they're actual leaks. I think this is just DGI's marketing program with the IGAR and Jasper and
Yep.
whoever else. Because I mean, if you can't figure out who these guys are by now, after what? When do these guys start coming on board? When the Air 2 came out, all of a sudden
Yeah, the big time leaks started around, I guess, the time of the COVID.
yeah,
Well, it
Before
was
the
we had
COVID,
Osita at
it was
first.
basically only OCEDA left before the
Yeah,
COVID.
we had Osita
right.
at first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm just saying these guys gained traction, and I think this is just a marketing ploy by DGI because there's no way you would allow this type of activity occur in your corporation because these guys are at corporate headquarters. They're not like sneaking up somewhere in the bushes taking shots like we used to get pictures of the new cars that were all covered up and
yeah,
looking all kind of funky and stuff, and guys are shooting through bushes and stuff, and you still couldn't make out what car was what. These are actual identifiable pictures of the product being tested, being half of disassembled, and everything else that you were worried
yeah.
about intellectual properties
Dre
being
was saying is these
exposed.
leaks are just too good.
Right. They're too good, too convenient, and it keeps I would say the rumor mill going at top speed.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the photo that I just popped up that shows the brand new DJI R4 Mini.
Hmm.
Right, and you saw Igor had the leaks today of the new
Yep,
Osmo
I'm
Mobile
getting there.
7.
I'm getting there, Ron. I'm getting there. Let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
scroll
yeah.
back.
Yeah, and what makes me laugh, I guess there's a guy out of the Vegas area. I think his name is Joseph or Joseph, whatever. He keeps throwing out these teaser stuff, and I know this guy doesn't have the drone and everything, but he keeps posting thumbnails like he has it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
he's been flying it or something. I'm like, not having it, dude. You
So
know,
this is the 7 and the 7 Pro, I think they're calling it.
We never had a Pro Osmo before.
But look at this little added thing, like is the little added feature on the bottom. And he goes, let's see, we'll go from see if I've got any more. These are just two different angles. Yeah, so you've got the what is it? The DJI, what is it? Osmo Mobile? Is it? What is
Yeah,
it?
well, we're currently at the Osmo Mobile 6
Yeah,
Pro
this is the
Mobile.
7 and the 7 Pro.
And that little
Okay.
AI thing on the Pro is the Hohem and all the other gimbal only companies have that stuff.
And here's the regular model. It looks very similar to hell all the way back to the 4 looks like that.
Yep,
I
yep,
have a 4 that looks almost identical to that.
yep.
Then here's the setup with the so it has a built-in tripod.
Well,
That's kind
that's
of
probably
cool.
playing catch up with Insta360. They have
Yeah.
built-in tripods.
Ah, okay, that's cool. Okay, we'll scroll up a little bit more. Here's the Pro model. So we don't know what this thing here is. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, it's probably that AI thing again at the Hohems and the other
Because
Chinese gimbal
he
companies have on.
shows it.
They've
So we
had them
go
for
up
a year or
here,
better.
and it's sitting here, and it's pretty nice. If it's inexpensive, it would be worth having. Because I haven't had one since the 4, and I know my grandson would get a kick out of having the 4 to do
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, you haven't missed anything, Bill. Hasn't been a lot of innovation, you know.
But here on this one, he says, and this little module is going to let's see, there's the module right there,
Yeah.
and then on the page it says, and the very module that will make for an interesting shooting experience, Osmo Mobile
That's
7
your
Pro.
AI module for tracking and so on like that.
Yeah, maybe with AI tracking. So,
Yeah.
but there's let's see, let's put in. We'll go ahead and do this. We'll do
The DJI's behind the curve on that, really. They're just playing catch up by adding that now.
That's what I'm saying because there's been other companies
Yeah,
who come out with
Hohem and some of the other Chinese gimbal makers have
right,
had it for a year or better.
right,
It's
yeah.
playing catch up, Bill.
Hmm.
So, did the Mavic 3 have dual native ISO?
Well, I can't say on all the cameras, but I'm going to say I'm pretty sure it did on the main camera
Okay. So
because
we're
that's not
saying
new technology. That dual ISO has been around since the Mini 3
so we're
launch.
saying that we don't have nothing new on this camera as compared to the 3 Pro.
Well, the camera configuration is a little bit different. The focal lengths outside the main one, the focal lengths I think are a little bit different. The numbers are a little bit different. I'm sure it's a nice little upgrade on the both, but it's nothing. I can't call it big time innovation. It's just like any camera maker. It's a slight increase over the performance of the
Right.
Okay,
previous
so
Well,
what if go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say, Bill, the big thing here is if you have the Mavic 3, don't be in a hurry. Now, if you're coming from like me, I still fly those Mavic 2s. Now, if I
Mhm.
had a Mavic 2, okay, maybe I'm ready to jump up because now we're
Right.
talking about two different iterations of a product.
Yes.
Okay. That might say, okay, yeah, this is a little more of this. I get a little more of that. Because like I said, the
I'm
Mavic
behind, I
2
know. Sorry.
doesn't the Mavic 2 basic one, like I still use with that 1 inch sensor, doesn't have a zoom. Okay, so now I say, okay, I want to get a camera with a zoom capabilities, and these extra cameras always come in handy. That's where the jump comes when you're having something like that. But if you, it's just my opinion. If you got the 3, uh, don't hurt yourself breaking out your wallet.
Dre, you're exactly right. If you're coming from the
Yeah,
2, adding that 50 millimeter, second tele camera is
right.
going to be a big step up. That's a
Yeah,
very useful focal length and very useful camera.
yeah. Yeah, so that's my whole thing. It all depends where you're coming from. But like we all know, there's always going to be folks who want to get the latest and greatest that DJI throws out there, and just to say that I got it. But like we all know, unless you are in a profession that's going to push you to use all these little features, if I'm just saying, if you're a hobbyist, you're not going to use half the stuff this thing is even bringing to the table. Because we found that out with the last one. We talked about people complain about how the 7 times zoom wasn't all that on the 3.
But it got
Yeah.
better on the 3 Pro. That's the thing.
Yeah, it got better, but like I say, how many times did you use it to really get what you wanted?
Especially in a paid job.
Hey, I'm not. I'm trying to stay away from the paid job. Cause then we talk about
Yeah,
getting the
yeah.
enterprise work. But I'm just saying this for hobbyists. That's why, because I see all the people posting pictures and everything else, and I keep telling myself now I see more pictures being posted with mini threes and mini fours than I do see with Mavic threes.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
So,
Even people that have both drones,
mhm,
tend to use the mini in situations where they know that they won't gain anything by bringing the Mavic out.
Let me get over here.
yeah. So that's my whole point right there is when I'm seeing a lot more activity, a lot more posting with a drone that only has one camera on it and it's got only a 1 1/3 sensor behind it than the one that has the 4/3. Now I know there's a difference in convenience and size and all this kind of stuff that people talk about, but all of us on this panel know how many folks run out and buy a hard case, which is almost the same size as the Mavic 3 case,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and take it around with you.
And there goes the portability. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That always makes me giggle because I remember, back in the old Phantom days, everybody complained about, oh, this big old Phantom and put it on the backpack and you get this big old large case, and then they go out and buy these big cases to
Did you
hold 4 or 5 batteries and stuff.
Right,
look what
and every accessory it's sold for the drone is in that big
Right.
old case. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
this
So I.
don't okay, look at these two drones. You will see them unfolding this one and the
Mhm.
one that they're testing, we know this. And then we come down here to this one, and it doesn't, the arms don't look the same. It looks like a little bit smaller drone than
well,
this one up
that
here.
honestly looks like kind of AI creation. So
Yeah, so it
who
looks
knows?
like,
Yeah,
but we've seen DJI come out with stuff very similar to that animation, you know.
yeah.
But it does
Well,
look like maybe it was created by AI. So
yeah.
maybe it's all just baloney.
Yeah,
This little
somebody went to Chat GPT and said, uh, create a mock-up of the Mavic 4 that looks like DJI's
unfolding, like for the,
animation.
yeah,
Mhm.
for their commercial video.
Yeah.
Right. Now I was going to just some of the questions in the chat here. Chuck, you're 100% correct that in actuality, yes, the picture should be better with a 4/3 sensor. But like you said, once you upload those shots or videos onto a social media platform, uh, no one can tell the difference between a Mavic 3 Pro or a Mini 3 Pro.
Right, and plus, not every situation requires the best camera. If you're out in good lighting or
Yeah.
whatever, but if you put your camera in a situation where it's not a very challenging situation, a lot of cameras could do a good job. Oh, you basically, a lot of times you need the better cameras when you put it in a more challenging lighting situation or just
Mhm.
challenging situation in general. Then the bigger cameras show their improvement. But in a good, like if you're just taking some snapshots in good lighting or whatever, the minis are fine. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
unless you're getting paid
most
to shoot a bulletin board or whatever, but,
Right. Well, like I say, most drones, regards to DJI or whoever, you get it in good lighting, they all take fantastic pictures.
nobody on your Instagram page can tell if you're shooting with the Mavic 3 Pro or the Mini 3 Pro.
Yeah.
I
So I
don't care. I
mean,
want it. Damn it.
yeah, that's gonna be it. It's gonna be all about what you want and go out there and have fun with it, and that's that. But
I skipped the Air 3. I skipped the Air 3S. You know, I've logicked all that out.
Yeah, yeah.
I've skipped the Neo. I've skipped the Flip.
The flip, yeah,
Wait a
the
minute,
flip.
that's the thing. That's we're gonna have to do a show and you just call it I skipped the Flip.
yeah.
Well,
Well, like I say, Bill,
it's
you're the
easy to skip
guy.
the flip.
Yeah, Bill, you're the guy who's gonna appreciate the upgrade because you waited to get to this
Right.
level. You didn't, like I said, you didn't buy the threes, you didn't buy all the other stuff in between. So, like you say, you're coming from possibly a Mavic 2 or whatever, and now you're going to go to this monster, and that's a big jump, big jump. So that's what I
Well, I
was saying.
still have
That's
a 3. I still have a
okay.
Mavic 3, but the thing about it is the Mavic 3 of the original Mavic 3 shortcomings was they the 70 millimeter wasn't as good as it could have been, and it could very another point of the Pro models and the Cine model coming out together. It could
Mhm.
very well be that maybe they're afraid that this might be the last drone coming into the country, although President Trump didn't seem like he was anti hobbyist, which was pretty cool. When I
Yeah,
thought the
yeah,
other day when he was,
right,
because he was like, it was just some hobby people, and then they all got curious. I
yeah.
was
Yeah,
like, hell yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah. Well,
That was actually really
I
cool.
always say it's what he wants or whatever case is a big factor, but
Hmm.
these individuals who are running these agencies are going to be more of a hands-on, and there's going to be a heavy influence from them. Right now, the FAA has nobody in charge
Yeah.
as we speak right now, so we don't know what direction it's going to go until we get somebody who goes up before the Senate and gets grilled and find out where we're going. So that's we're kind of like I saw everybody's talking about the other day. I was in the chat. Everybody's talking about 108s and all this kind of stuff. I said everything's on hold.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Everything is on a hold. So there's no use getting excited about it or wondering when it's going to show up. We got to find out who's the boss going to be. Yeah,
Okay, Bob, you're gonna have to print a T-shirt. I'm grigging it. You're gonna have
yeah.
to. You're gonna have to French because they're never gonna let you live that down. Griggin. It's gonna be Griggin from now on. Bob Griggin Casey because the F didn't he hit the G
Right,
instead of the F and it
right.
came up Griggin. So John jumped on it, man.
Yeah. So
Hey
I'm
Bob
just, I
Griggin.
mean, like I said, there's always going to be a certain percentage of folks who are going to buy it because it's there to buy. Now, and then, like I say, then you're going to get a certain percentage of people who went out and bought it right away, who are going to start complaining about certain aspects or what they thought it should be doing and what it could be doing and everything else. So it's just like always, we'll live and learn. But going back to what you're saying about will this be the last drone? Because I always say you got to look at the big picture. This Mavic 4, how much is it going to give us compared to a Inspire 3? Okay,
Oh yeah,
'cause
yeah.
that's where you get, like I say, DJI is still gonna play
He's
smart.
done.
They're still gonna
Wow.
play smart as far as what they're making available to the people. So I'm like, so now you look at, okay, I'm gonna spend 5 grand on this Mavic 4 Cine and stuff, and who knows, in another year we might have a Mavic 5 series coming out and stuff. And where's the money for that gonna be at? And as I say, as time goes on, the price of the Inspire 3 may creep down a little bit because it started way up, 18, 19 grand. Will DJI bring that back because it's not a big demand like it once was? Will they drop the price of that like they did the M30T when they got competition? They dropped the M30T $5,000
Wow.
when they got competition from Autel. So there's a number of things that could happen that we've seen happen before.
Right.
And that's why I
Right.
tell folks sometimes, like they do, sometimes you gotta wait. Play the waiting game, see what's gonna fall out. And like right now, even with my extended battery for my power bank, somehow DJI doesn't have anything in stock.
Hmm.
My power bank, my second DJI 2000 was supposed to be here on the 16th, and it has not. They said they're out, and I haven't seen it yet.
Wow.
So it's so many moving parts right now with DJI. Availability, shipping issues,
Stuck
how
in
much.
customs issues.
Yeah, you're stuck in custom issues. How many drones they're going to put out this year? Because we know there's been several different legislations that are still hanging in the winds,
Yeah.
ready to be approved. And right now, the numbers don't favor us
No.
at all. Don't favor us at all.
Forrest,
So like it's
we a lot of us were having this same conversation about a year ago,
yeah,
and we're still having the conversation. I
yeah.
mean, we've been worried about these drones being banned, not getting here for a couple years now, and I mean, they're actually it's tougher to get them in now. They're stuck in customs, but for the
Hmm.
most
They've
part,
run.
they're still getting here.
Yeah. So
You know.
like I say, it's almost like two different versions. You can outright ban something, or you can just suffocate it. And by
Right.
having these custom situations going on, you're causing like a suffocation because when the regular retailers can't get their hands on it to sell, and the mom and pop guys can't get their hands on it to sell, you suffocate the market.
Mm.
You're
Yeah,
you're collapsing the market with like the squeezing like you squeezing your fist. You know, you're suffocating it. You're cutting off the supply.
yeah. Bill, did you just 3D print that?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot. Started it before the show because I knew it was going to take like an hour. So, and then just realized it was finishing up, and I hadn't stuck it in there. And then
Bill,
Mhm.
Brian was asking what I print.
you should print to scale Mavic 4 in there.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I don't think anybody. I don't know how to use the splitter, the program well enough yet to do that. And
Okay.
Mhm.
I still, Ron is. Did you sell your Air 2S yet?
No, no, I haven't got a bid yet. Or haven't got an
Yeah,
offer yet.
I have the Air 2S and I have an original Mavic 3. So, but I don't
Yeah, I
think I'm
mean,
ever going to
Jim,
sell the
yeah,
Air
you
2S.
could do for an upgrade, but I mean, those are still great drones. If you upgrade, I don't know how much of of a performance increase you expect to see. Well, I mean, you're going to see with the Air Twist, you're going to see a big increase in battery life, and you're going to see a big increase in speed and whatever. But the camera increase is probably going to be smaller than you think.
Um, but I'm going to have a better 70 millimeter lens in it, much
You're
better.
going to get that. You're going to get that extra lens, which really, I mean,
Have a lot better processing going on internally. The
yeah,
heat sink is no longer up front, it's in the back now. So that there's
Mhm.
more processing that can go on and more capabilities. And this drone supposedly is going to have some AI in it, more
Oh,
mhm.
extensive than any of the others.
that's for the tracking part for is picking up different subjects. And like I said, we're talking about features and how many times have we seen people use the tracking feature, and that is always the I don't want to say the death of their drone, but no matter how great the AI continues to get, it can't find a branch.
Right,
Mhm.
or thin wire. Oh yeah,
What do you
or
think,
thin
Jim?
wire.
Yeah. Now you talk about time, Ron. Now I was listening to one guy. He's more on the higher end, and he's talking about the time actual flight in the air. Flying. Uh, he said that the difference between the Mavic. He's talking about enterprise level, but he's talking about the Mavic 3 and this Mavic 4 was about 6 minutes
Right,
difference.
right.
And I'm saying, okay, is 6 minutes is that much of a difference? Like I say, up to individual what you're thinking about. 'Cause my thing is 6 minutes not gonna make or break me. You know,
Right,
not at all.
right.
So I
Well,
don't know. I
of
say
course,
it's probably each their own.
if that could save you, from land drone have to throw another battery in to complete a job.
Right. Well, like I said, that's not gonna break or break when I
Not gonna
have
make it break it, but
six batteries in my case. So I got to bring it back 6 minutes earlier.
yeah, yeah. Of course, where I am at, the weather could change drastically. Sometimes, but from the time I take a drone off to the time I land it, the white balance could drastically change. I mean, the lighting could drastically change just in a single battery's life where I live. So sometimes,
Hmm.
if I had to land and change that battery, I would go into maybe another lighting scenario where I have to, adjust for white balance again and exposure. So there is some advantages to not waste a lot of time if your lighting changes where you live.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Would you say?
there's always scenarios where it's going to help you out, but I'm just saying my whole thing is if they told me that the battery level was double of the three, then I would say that's a game changer.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
game changer right
yeah.
there.
For six
So,
minutes is incremental.
right,
It's an
6 minutes is
incremental improvement.
incremental and stuff. Like you said, we went from Phantoms and Mavic twos, which were only giving you about in real flying scenarios, you're getting about 18 minutes. And now with these Mavic threes, even Air 3Ss and stuff, now you're getting somewhere around 28 minutes.
Yeah,
That's almost 10 minutes.
yeah.
10 minutes. Now you're starting to get into okay, now I got 10 minutes more time
Now I got a
to do
battery and a
something.
half.
Yeah, I got a battery and a
Yeah.
half.
Well, Jim Anderson, who mentioned he's told the Air 2S,
Mhm.
you're lucky to get 20 minutes on that. And if you have the
Mhm.
Air 3 or Air 3S, you're getting more like 30 minutes.
Right. So that's what I say. I mean, it's up to each its own. I'm like I say, I'm sure there's always going to be folks who are going to jump out and get it, and they're going to come out and talk about how great this and that is. But like I said, it depends where you're coming from. That's all my thing is. Depends where you're coming from.
Right.
If you're
If
coming
you're coming
from
from
a
an older
home
drone,
drone,
it is great.
yes. You're coming from like say a Mavic 2 something, or even from a Phantom, it's going to be like night and day.
Yeah.
The
Or if
stuff.
you're like me and you just do it for the hobby of it, my wife's convinced that the oldest drone still does good enough, and I have
Yeah,
no reason to buy more.
yeah. Well, I'd say I still bank on my Phantoms. I think those things just they put out great footage. I'll
Yeah,
put that footage up against a lot of different
Yeah,
cameras
I was
as
gonna
far.
say, if you're
manual
posting footage from
shutter.
your Phantom
Yeah,
4 Pro, and these guys are posting from their Mavic 3 Pros or whatever, anybody watching on the internet, they're not gonna see any difference or whatever.
yeah.
And you're going to hear people talking about manual shutters as opposed to electronic shutters
You
too.
have you heard manual shutter rumors for the Mavic 4?
Not
Mm,
not on the consumer level. It's going to be the same standard for the enterprise ones, where the 4E will have the mechanical shutter, but the 4T will not because it's going to have the thermal, the laser rangefinder, two other lenses that are smaller. None of them will have a 1 inch or a 4/3. They're all like 1 1/3, and they will have electronic shutters. So that's
Does DJI
basically.
really save that much money by, like, having the same drone have 2 different shutters in? Like, is it worth their time to put a digital shutter in his drone? Does it save him that much money?
Well, it's like I said, it's marketing. Okay, like I
Okay,
say, if I like for me, I do mapping photogrammetry work. The mechanical shutter is essential,
right, right,
but I also do solar work, which I need a thermal drone.
right,
So now I have to go out and buy a thermal drone.
right.
So DJI gets my money twice.
Twice, yeah, yeah.
So they're getting their money. You know.
Hot Rod's been saying this for a couple of years. Like the new technology is global shutters, and a global shutter has the advantage of digital and the mechanical shutter. But I guess that's
Mhm.
still too
but
early to roll
Mikey,
out in droves as far as a new technology.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I say DJI is smart. They're very smart in what they do. They're smart in their marketing. They're smart in their technology. And unless, like I said, they'll get your money one way or another. Like say, if you want to go out and you buy a M300 or 350, and you buy the L2 camera, which is the lidar camera, but also in that lidar camera, it has a mechanical shutter RGB camera in it, 1 inch sensor. Okay, so you get a double dip, but both of the lidar and the RGB are mainly for mapping only. It ain't gonna do you no good for thermal.
Right, right, right.
And just like if you buy the H20T or the new H30T, they're great thermal and nighttime vision cameras, but they are only average or subpar when it comes to mapping because they don't have the mechanical shutter.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I say, it's like I say, I can tell everybody before the Phantom was the last, I would say, complete drone they ever built.
Right,
It was
right.
it was the last one. Everything else has been you got to
Right, the
buy
last
almost
drone they
new.
ever built that they put a mechanical shutter in, that the drone wasn't specifically made for mapping. It was a
Right.
general purpose drone, and it had a
Hmm.
mechanical shutter, and we haven't seen
Right.
that since.
Haven't seen it since.
And we probably won't ever see it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just for instance, like in I'm not talking about drones, just photography in general. In my ground-based cameras, lots of times I use the digital shutter rather than mechanical shutter because I like it because I can take pictures faster if I want a digital shutter.
Hmm.
Like it recovers faster.
Yeah. But like for me, for the work I do, I have one client that won't accept any electronic shutter work. It
Mhm.
has to be mechanical shutter. They
Right.
say nope, won't accept it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
and that's why I'm saying that they get you on that because what the requirement. That's why I tell people when you go into business, you gotta make sure you adhere to what the client wants or what their system supports. So you got to make sure you're in those, you meet those parameters, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. You got to, yeah. That's a question we would ask up front whether, you
Hmm.
require mechanical shutter for your mapping work.
Right, right.
Okay, well
I got.
go
Go ahead.
ahead,
Yep.
go ahead. We're talking about
No,
the
go,
Mavic.
no,
My
I was just
thing
talking about
is
the
what
Mavic.
I was curious about, and we've not seen usually now, especially like with the Mavic 3, we got leaks and stuff on the Mavic 3, and we got all of the stuff talking to us about, hey Eric, how you doing?
Oh,
Talking to
Eric.
us about what all specs it had, what the battery life was, what the flight time was, all this stuff. And we didn't hear really about the Mavic 3 Pro until what was it, 6 to 8 months down the road. We started getting little teeny leaks here and there, and then it
Hmm.
was what? How long
Yeah,
after?
it caught us by surprise. I'm going to say the Mavic 3 came out in the winter, early winter of 2021. And I don't think we saw the Mavic 3 Pro until the spring of 2023. So we went like a year and a half or something
Right,
or
right,
better.
right, right. So I don't understand why there would be leaks right now showing us what they're titling the Mavic 4 Pro. And then I noticed Lon was in one of the other streams, maybe your stream Monday night, Ron, and he was talking about, wait, we still got to get the Mavic 4. And I'm like, they're not leaking any Mavic 4. So they have no intentions of giving us the Mavic 4 first. At least that's what my logic is on it. Because like you said, it was a long time after the Mavic 3 was out before we knew it was coming because there was always a Pro version.
Hmm.
But it was at least what, 8 months to 10 months before we saw the first leaks after the
Yeah,
Mavic 3 came
and
out.
really, you forget between in there somewhere we had the classic came out first,
All
so
right.
we saw the leaks for the classic, of course,
I thought
way
the
before we
classic.
saw the Pro. I
I
mean,
thought
the
the
classic
classic
came
came
out.
out last.
Okay, the three came out in again the fall of 2021. The classic came out in say the summer of 2022. So we went through the whole classic thing before we
Let's
got to
see.
the Pro.
Hmm.
Well, no, I think Dre was. No, yeah, I thought we got the classic before the Pro.
Oh, way before, way before.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
thought the
classic came
classic
out
was.
like again, what even a year later? I'm going to say like maybe 8 months later, the classic popped up. But then we had to wait almost another like 9, ten
Yeah,
months to
Ron,
get the Pro
November 2nd, 2022.
Hmm.
for the Mavic
Okay.
3. Yeah. Oh
Let's see.
no.
Let me do Mavic 3 Pro. I'm asking. AI is so cool now. It just pulls all that information in so fast.
Yeah. Well, I can say I know with this Mavic 4,
Yeah,
a
April
lot of
2023.
a lot of specs were getting muddled together between the enterprise level and the consumer level. It
Right.
all depends, who it was. They were giving you half the specs on the enterprise one and then
Yeah.
half the specs on the consumer. And everybody's talking about, oh, they're going to put a mechanical shutter on the consumer drum. Like, yeah, that's very highly unlikely,
Right.
you know. And then we come to find out they're releasing two models almost simultaneously, the enterprise level and the consumer level,
Which
or what they
makes
call
sense.
what
Which
they
kind
call
of makes sense.
prosumer level.
Yeah. No, I mean they might as well get as much use out of this body and innards as they can on across the enterprise consumer lines.
Well,
Hmm.
I thought they were kind of phasing out the enterprise line as it was with this past drone, and that was where they were pushing more into the Mavic style body. Remember, everybody was kind of noticing that it seemed kind of odd, right?
Mhm.
Uh, the enterprises, like I said, they're too valuable. They're the high dollar level. Uh, in spite of all the talk of bans and everything else, just as I was talking to the FAA on Monday, even they admit DJI is still the best drone.
Hmm.
Especially talking about inspection work and mapping, all this kind of stuff. They are king of the hill, and ain't no way you can get around it. So with that in play, like I say, the only way you're going to change that is by suffocating the market by not allowing DJI drones to come into the country, be sold by third party retailers or third party mom and pop sellers and everything else. That you make it so difficult to get them, and who knows what's going to happen with the price hikes that could possibly take place.
Right.
We're all anticipating, what these drones are going to cost just off past, prices. But like I said, we're dealing in a whole different ball game now. We're playing in a different stadium.
And we don't
Okay,
know the rule. We don't know the rules quite yet.
here's
Yeah.
what here, but the Matrice series wasn't in originally a bigger style drone, and now they've kind of pushed it into that Mavic 3 style body. That was what I was talking about.
Oh no, no, no. The
That new
Matrice.
Matrice 4.
Uh, well, they called it the Matrice 4 to keep it in the enterprise family. Okay, just like the M30, the Matrice 30T.
Mhm.
Big. It's a big drone still, but it's more of that foldable. And that's why I think the we call it Mavic style, that it's a foldable drone. Because you can remember before on the older ones, the 300 and the 350, you got to put the legs together
Right.
and all that
Mhm.
kind of good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the difference there. That now you're getting drones that are, like I say, more portable, but they're big, just like the 30, the fly cart, big drones, but they're not, they're all one piece.
Right.
You don't
No,
have to
no,
you don't
no
have to put no
assembly
legs on.
required on site.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that everybody was always talking about. Well, the setup time it takes to put a 300 or a 350 together and get it up in the air. I'm like, yeah, it's just depends what you're doing, what you're looking for. But now, like I say, DJI is at all levels, from consumer to enterprise. They have put their fingers in every level of the drone community.
Just like our big automakers like GM and Ford basically have
Hmm.
every vehicle level covered,
Right, right.
all the
But
way
this is
down
the
to a
first
little
time.
economy car, all the way up to work trucks,
Hmm.
cargo vans,
Right.
everything.
Right. And the thing, the only difference between DJI and our automakers is DJI always seems to be put out the best stuff at every level.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like I say, everybody's trying to still compete from the Neo to the Flip and the what's the other ones, what the prop guards,
The minis,
I'm thinking of the
Vadas.
N yeah, Avadas. I said,
Avata
"Who
FPV,
who"
yeah, yeah.
there's nobody else who even put out anything close to the Avata yet.
Yeah, Avata doesn't really have any direct competition.
Yeah, it doesn't have any direct competition, and like I say, and I think people are just know they can't compete, so you're talking about that right there, they put their finger, basically, DJI put their finger in the eye of FPV flyers, like they did with the first potato one. Say, "Okay, I can make something fast or whatever. Here you go." Now I got something that's even better, cinematic type stuff. Here you go with the Avata and everything. And now we got Neos. I bought a Neo for my grandson for Christmas and stuff. I said,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like I say, it's better than what everybody else is putting out.
I mean, the Neo and the Flip have competitions from the hover, the hover
Well,
drones.
yeah, but I
I
said
don't
that.
think so.
I
I
say
don't think
it,
so.
it. I say in features and quality of the picture, yes, but the price difference.
Right. Right. The
We,
hover's a
we,
little pricey.
yeah,
Yeah.
the hover is almost what, $300-$400 more.
Yeah. It's easy to compete when you charge twice the price.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just say DJI, like I said, they're smart. They market it and they keep putting out better products than everybody else. And I mean, when's the last time we heard our buddies over at Autel put out anything?
Yeah, basically with the consumer drones, with that Light series and the Nano series, they stopped. If you go to the website, they're still selling those two drones, and they still sell
Yeah.
them at kind of the prices they came out at. But yeah,
Hmm.
but we haven't seen anything new in years.
Yeah. Like I said, and they came
But
out what?
still, they haven't put a new drone out, maybe a new consumer drone out in 3 or 4 years. But they're still second to DJI. They're still ahead of everybody else but DJI, even though they
Right.
haven't done anything.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's how far DJI is in the quality of their drones and the pricing. That Autel, who hasn't put out a drone in probably what, almost 5 years now, 3 5 years.
Yeah,
Last drone they put
sooner.
out, and they're holding second place because
And they're
nobody else
they're they're,
is
they're
even
as far
trying.
as ahead of the people behind them as DJI is ahead of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's how uncompetitive the market is.
Right. Yeah.
That would
And,
be
and
like that'd be like a Ford or GM if they didn't make a new car for 3 to 5 years, but they were still ahead of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that would never happen.
Right. So that's why I said this whole argument of you know of banning DJI and Chinese drones together. If that does manage to happen, we would, I can say, drones in America would probably almost be non-existent.
Well, I mean, our current drones would fly for years.
Right.
So
Long
like
as we can get batteries. Long as
yeah,
we can get
yeah. As
batteries.
long as you can get batteries, you could probably be good for 5 years. With the
Yeah.
drones you're flying now.
Yeah. And that's only contributed to the quality of what DJI and Autel has put out over the years. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that, even for, like I say, people say go to Walmart or buy Amazon toy drone or whatever. Those drones are all made in China. So we ban all these Chinese drones and stuff. Who else is going to fill that slot? Nobody. There
So
is nobody.
we were waiting for these great startup American drone companies to appear and start
And I
producing quality products.
Well, like I said, and they're all looking for government contracts because that's where the money's at. That's
Right.
what
They're
that's
not
why.
going to be building, say, consumer $300 consumer drones. They're going to be building,
Right.
what, $10,000
Hmm.
enterprise type drones for the government
Hmm.
and in big
Right.
industry.
Yeah. That's why Skydio jumped out of it because they say, oh, we can make real money getting a government contract, DoD contract. We're sitting fat. They don't lost that to somebody else.
Right.
And
Right.
everybody's trying to say that they may revert back to selling commercial drones. I just
Well,
don't see
only
that.
because they had no choice.
Well, I don't think the market will support them again.
No.
I
Right.
mean,
They burned their customer base.
right. They burned a big bridge. I mean, they could have kept putting out small iterations of the Skydio 2 to this day.
Right,
Yeah.
they could have put out the
And it
Scuddy of 2.5 and,
right, you know,
2.6, and it just made it incrementally better, but kept selling it.
right. But they didn't do it. They just completely burned that bridge, and I don't think the market will trust them again to be consistent.
Yeah, who would wanna go out and hand them $1,000 plus for a consumer drone that
Hmm.
may have no support or whatever, no future in a year, less than a year's time or something?
I don't
Right.
see how they built it as cheaply as they did,
Hmm.
to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's maybe part of the problem. Maybe the markup wasn't on it enough or whatever. So what's the hope? You mean so are there? So no, there's no company. Well, there's no company in America yet, but there's no even future startup American company that could produce, say, an under $500 competent drone to rival DJI's even budget line of drones.
No, I don't see how. Not unless they do like they said, and they break it all the way down and reverse engineer it, and then we get
Hmm.
something back that they've just kind of thrown together and said, "Oh, look, there's a slight modification here in the chassis. It's American made." You know,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys are right because I can't think of any other like American manufactured startup company in recent years that has gone from zero to having a consumer level product out there
Hmm.
that has a competitor that's already in that space and doing well.
Yep.
mm.
So it's tough. Like I say, and like I tell a lot of people, I know America is a major market for anybody who makes anything on this planet.
Right.
But like I say, DJI will pivot if they have to, and they will keep making drones and keep selling them to the rest of the world.
And we'll be flying. If we
Mhm.
fly anything at all, we'll be flying substandard drones.
Well, like I said, I just don't expect us to see a Mavic 4 to come out first. I really expect to see the Mavic 4 Pro is what
Well,
we're
but,
going to
but
get
let me
first.
ask you this. I know it's what these leakers write down. But have you ever seen the Mavic 4 Pro written on the side of these drones? How do we know? People throw terms around like Mavic 4, Mavic 4 Pro. Some people just throw those terms around loosely, whatever.
When
Are
we
you
first saw the Mavic 3, was there ever mention of it being the Mavic 3 Pro? Because we're all pretty sure that DJI leaks this themselves. Was there
Mhm.
ever a leak when we first saw the 3, or was it simply the Mavic 3 the entire time.
I mean, I don't know about Igor or Jasper, but I mean, just talking to people in the community, a lot of people just matter of factly called it the three pro, whatever. But I can't say Jasper or Igor said it one
Yeah.
way or the other.
If I
I
remember
always
cor
remember them calling it the three,
Yeah,
never the three pro.
I remember it being a 3 when it first came out, it was a 3 and 3 cine.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we heard
Those were the
about.
first things that came out. The
That's what
first
the
things
first.
that
That's all
came
that
out.
we heard about was the leaks.
The 3 and the 3 cine.
We're pretty sure that DJI plans all this and does it for a reason. So because
Yeah.
all they have to do is like leak it into social media two or three places, and they're done. And all they have to do is
Mhm.
they can really pay all their money on that big budget trailer that they give us when they introduce the drone and unleash it to the world. And there was a question that Eddie asked Billy Kyle earlier on Johnny's show. He
Mhm.
said, "Do you expect to see the Mavic 4 Pro in Best Buy?" I don't know if we'll ever see another DJI drone other than the little tiny ones in Best Buy again.
Yeah, but Best Buy might not ever get drones period again.
Yeah,
And
very
and
Best,
that's
true.
why
Best Buy may
that's
not even be around that much longer.
yeah.
Do what
Well, I'm
now?
just we
Who,
say
who knows if Best Buy the store is going to be in business that much
Yeah,
longer?
yeah, it might be.
well, they pretty much have consumed the electronic market. I mean, we all of us are old enough here, knowing the good old days of going to Fry's, Circuit City, and
Yeah,
whatever local or regional electronics supermarket you have back in your area, and Best Buy survived. And I tell people all the time, remember, Best Buy wasn't selling drones up until what 7 years ago, maybe eight
But
years
they
ago.
were selling drones in the heyday of I want to say the Phantom 3 and the Phantom 3's rival. What was the Phantom 3's rival? The American drone, the one that
What the Solo?
Solo, whatever. That was kind of the heyday when they had all the counters and displays set up, whatever. Of course, they
Mhm.
sold that GoPro drone. That was all in, we'll say, 2016 air or something like that.
Yeah.
They were,
So my
but
so
their drone department was big in those days.
yeah, well, as I was saying, we didn't even last a decade. We're a year short of a decade.
Yep.
So, like I say, believe me, Best Buy will survive because they'll go back and put back in all the Magnolia shops. So all of us audio files like me can go back and sit and relax and test out speakers
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and
mean, this
stuff.
is, I don't go in much anymore, but when I do go in, it doesn't have the same kind of vibe that it had the store. I
No,
mean, even
it's
disregarding the drone department, it doesn't have the vibe it had 10 years ago. It just seems like it's kind of dead in there compared to what it used to be.
what? That's so
well,
bad.
like I say, I remember buying my DVDs at Best Buy. They don't sell DVDs anymore.
Or I
My
bought
first
even
DVD,
CDs there.
yeah, So like I say, they've gone through different iterations of technology, and they keep on going. 'Cause believe it or not, one of the biggest sellers, washers and dryers.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say
You know,
the big appliances
the
are. Yeah,
durable goods, washers and dryers and refrigerators.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
like I say, because all the other competition is gone. Because now you're talking about Sears ain't even around no more.
We're
So
American
you can't,
shop. Yeah,
like I
yeah.
say, 'cause you can't go get a Maytag like you used to.
You make a good point. Yeah, make
Yeah.
a good
So
point.
like I said, they're in a lot of places, they are the only game in town or even several towns and stuff.
So
But like
we're
I
going to
say,
replace the brick and mortar with big warehouses and somebody in a little colored truck representing their given defensive party,
Yeah,
whether it be
yeah.
Best Buy or whatever, is going to
mhm,
like Amazon Electron. Of course, Amazon's really broadening out now. What is it? They'll bring you your drugs. You just got to get to the door. Remember that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Bill, taking us back to the Mavic 3 Pro. I mean, I guess the Mavic 3 Pro couldn't have came out first because I don't think that 50 millimeter camera, which is what made the Mavic 3 Pro a Pro, that camera wasn't available until the year it came
No,
out
you were
because
right,
in
Ron.
the
You were
same
right.
year the Mavic 3 Pro and the Air 3 got that 50 millimeter camera. So that
Well,
that camera
what
wasn't
camera
ready.
did the Cine have on it then?
The city did not have the 50 millimeter.
No, yeah, because it was still
Oh,
we had it was because there was so much difference in the 70 millimeter and the original one that they put on the three that
mhm,
people were like, oh man, if they'd have just given us that first, That's
Mm-hmm.
why I think we're going to get it first this time,
Mm-hmm.
just in case this is it. They're going to get the bang for the buck right out of it, until all the whatever gets run through or whatever, and they feed us the story of what's wrong with the drone or not wrong with the drone.
It's
Right.
just about Montgomery Monkey Wards, as we used to call it, Montgomery Wards.
Yeah.
But Bill, this time around, if they do put the Mavic 4 Pro out first with all 3 cameras, I may wait for the Mavic 4 because I can save money and not get the camera. I don't need that extra long camera. I'll just take the first 2 cameras.
And say that again. I was trying
Yeah,
to highlight some.
I may wait for the regular Mavic 4 in that case because I'd rather save money and just get the 24 millimeter and the 50 and save money by not getting that real long lens,
Mm.
the useless lens.
But okay, but like, what if GTI drones get banned in a year?
Well,
Well, once you got it, you got it.
we already had the conversation that the Mavic 4 is coming just a couple months down the road from the 4 Pro, right?
Well, I don't know if it's gonna. They're gonna try to get as much as they can in as quickly as possible. That's why if
Right.
we're looking at it before the end of the year, so I figure, yeah, we'll get the 3 Pro. Excuse me, the 4 Pro. Like we said about March. What did I say? 18th. Is what
18.
my prediction was.
Mm-hmm.
That was what my prediction was. But we're gonna get the 4 Pro and the 4 Pro Cine right then. And then in about 3 or 4 more months, maybe 5 months, we'll get kind of a dressed down Mavic 4 and then whatnot from there. Probably a Mavic 4 Classic, and it will have like an updated version of the shitty 70 millimeter lens that was on the original Mavic 3.
Yeah, I mean,
Slightly
if
upgraded.
they drastically improve that lens, then that's a compelling reason to buy it. But if it's incrementally better than what we already have, then that's not such a compelling reason.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, like I say, these first 90 days are going to be significant on a lot of fronts, and
Mm.
especially the drone community. What we are can anticipate on seeing if they keep slow walking stuff and everything else, we may see a couple of iterations of this Mavic 4 hit our shores. But if they, you know, put this stuff before the floors of the House and Senate, I think this Mavic 4, whatever they release in March, is may be the last thing we may see.
Of course,
Hmm.
what
It
about
may
that
very
whole
well
thing,
be.
Bill, where it's going to be they have a year to have one of the bodies of government do an inspection of DJI drones and make sure that there's no hardware reporting back to China, and that'll determine the future. Where's that sit at now?
Well, the problem with that, it was a clause that was saying if someone
Yeah,
decided
yeah,
to,
if.
if someone decided to, deconstruct one of these drones and submit a report, it was a requirement, and that's why I said that, and I kind of got on a few top people's nerves about it, and they said, "Well, we'll worry about that when we cross that bridge." I said, "No, you don't want to worry about a problem that already know exists. You got to prepare for it. So
Right, right.
so it's not as much of a problem."
That was that if thing. That was still like they had a year to if
Right.
do that
The, the,
thing.
cla-
So
the
that but
clause is
that's
you have a
still
year
then
to submit a
why are we
report.
worry about 90 days if we get a year on that other I'm
Right.
gonna call it a bill or whatever you want to call
Right. Because
that
the
thing.
whole thing is, if they do nothing, the ban goes into effect.
Right, but they have 90 days they have to wait a year before we see if they do nothing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
automatic. I'm
yeah,
just saying they can accelerate that by putting another law in place or another whatever they want to, and then they don't have to worry about it. So I'm
right,
just saying we're already on the clock. We're already on the clock from last December when they passed that. We're already on the clock.
right,
And I don't,
right.
and like I say, as like I say, with all these changes in department directors or secretaries or whatever you want to call them and stuff, change departments, you got to ask yourself how high on the priority list is this going to be?
Now, is TikTok getting a reprieve, or at least a 9-day reprieve?
I, I,
That shows some I don't know what you're going to call it forgiveness to China, or some goodwill towards China. Will any of that goodwill on a Chinese company like TikTok kind of roll over to DJI?
Well, TikTok, like I told people, TikTok hasn't changed from when certain
TikTok
people
got him
want.
elected.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say TikTok hasn't changed since the first time he was in office, and they haven't changed since. So why do I expect TikTok to change now? TikTok will be TikTok. I don't think they're going to allow themselves to be sold to American company or whatever, be subjugated under, like I say, you can go with that 51.49% deal type of thing. They want somebody who's going to have overall control of the platform, and I don't think they're going to allow that. Because once again, TikTok is just not in America. TikTok is global, so they got to think. You know what? TikTok may not be in Russia, far as all we know, or whatever the case may be. China already puts a lockdown on a lot of other programs that Google and all these other people put out. So they like say, you know what? If we got to walk away, we'll walk away. There is
But
a lot of
DJI is
money
the
in
same thing.
America.
They're global. They can walk away from the U.S. market and still survive.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm
easily,
saying.
easily.
That's what I'm saying. People are going to figure out, you know what? As much as there is a lot of money in America markets, it gets to a point they got to say we have to stand on our own principle as a company, and we can't. In other words, we can't give the farm away.
Dre,
It's,
the American drone flyers like us, we may need DJI more than DJI needs the American market.
that is my point. That is my point. We're going to need them before they need us, and that's the sad part. 'Cause like I said, there is no real options that are viable for us to turn to in quality and price, other than the Chinese drones that we fly now. And I don't care if you fly Alltel. And I think it was Unique stopped their operations
Oh yeah,
last
yeah,
month.
yeah.
I think they put out a message that if you want to buy batteries or accessories, whatever, there's some guy in Denmark or Netherlands or whatever, you can
Huh.
still get parts for it. And
Hmm.
that's about it. They have stopped. They have walked away from the market.
Right, right.
And DJI can say the same thing. We're walking away from America. TikTok can say, "We'll walk away." We thank you for the opportunity to save us or whatever, but we're not ready to cross that bridge to give away our company.
Hmm.
So, like I
So,
say,
so,
these
so,
first 90 days are going to be very significant in a lot of ways that we're looking at things here in America.
I got it, man. I
well,
got
hopefully
it.
DJI can get a 90-day stay at some point.
No, no, no. Let's just get him to sell DJI to some U.S. company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's do
Well,
that one instead. They can
we
have
all
TikTok. Let's just get him to buy
we,
DJI
we we
instead.
all better hope Frank Wayne bought a house here somewhere in the country somewhere, and he changed over citizenship.
That'd be great, man. That
That
would
would
be
be,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
That's about our best opportunity right there. You know, I doubt the Chinese government let him even travel outside of China.
I say you need to go get him some of those old rock and roll road managers from like the late '90s. Frank, come over here. We'll show you a good time, buddy. We got some girls, we got some
Yeah,
women. We got
yeah,
all kinds of. Come on over, Frank. We'll make you happy.
yeah. So
The
it's
plan going forward is to get the Mavic 4 Pro as quick as you can. Hold on, to get a death grip on it. That may be your last drone.
Yeah, I hate to be I say the doom and gloom. I wish there were other options. Like I say, I would love to have a American company that I could feel comfortable buying stuff with. I feel comfortable with the software they have available. That would be an easy switch over. I would love for that to happen. I just don't see it in the cards.
Too
I
bad you
Yeah,
just
I
couldn't
don't
get like
know.
Ford or GM in the making drones because they already have they're already a big operation. They
Yeah.
wouldn't be a startup.
Well, like I said, we have companies that we would think would want to take up this banner, but no one seems to be interested. I mean, it's not like we don't make drones at all. We just make very big and deadly drones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's talks out there. Why doesn't Apple or Samsung make drones?
Yeah,
Because because like Samsung's in Korea, not China.
Because they saw what happened to
Obviously,
GoPro.
Samsung has the ability to make anything they want to, the money and the
Mhm.
ability to make anything they want to.
Ron,
Yeah.
because they saw what happened to GoPro. The
I mean,
karma was too
Right,
much.
but
yeah.
they have much deeper pockets than GoPro to survive a
Well,
bad
Ron,
first
I'm
drone.
talking about some of our top people. I would love to see Lockheed Martin make a
There you go.
consumer level drone.
Yeah, there you
There you
go. There
go.
you go.
Northrop Grumman, Boeing. I want to see those people who make military drones scale it down to consumer level drones.
Who already have done all the research and whatever. They
Yes,
have the research and development
they
already
have all
done.
the research, they have the technology. All they gotta do is scale it down to, like say the model scale size.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
That's it right there.
Yeah,
Tom's
but
got
but
it.
Corporate America is running the whole country, and we keep
mhm,
worrying about politicians and whatnot. But until somebody comes up and stands up to the corporations and said the only reason you're a giant corporation is the people of this country and their dollar bills stuffing your doors and your bank accounts,
mhm,
it's not going to matter. There's still going to be the shadow people behind everything.
yeah,
It's just going to be there.
yeah. Hey, Bill, I got to shove off here and
That's
stuff. I
totally cool. Thank
All
you
appreciate
right,
very
you
much
enjoy
for
it,
inviting
coming
me,
in.
Dre.
partner.
Glad to
All right,
have you.
all
Appreciate
Dre,
it
right.
very
Dre,
much.
before you go, how's everything in California now with the wildfires?
Uh, it's still a mess. Like I said, now you're talking about cleanup. People are fighting about where to take the debris to. So they want to take it to
Mm,
the old Irwindale. I want to say it's not a dump site, but there's some kind of area in Irwindale, which is about 15 miles away. That community is upset because they don't want to be involved in all the toxic fumes and everything else
Oh
from putting
wow.
all the ash and burnt up materials there. So now the infighting starts on the cleanup projects.
Oh wow.
The money is there. The AQMD has relaxed restrictions and everything else. Now it's about nobody wants to have the mess in their backyard.
Wow.
yeah, that's true.
So
Makes sense.
that's where we're at now.
Well,
Mm.
I know there was some confusion about the water. I won't go any further, but there was some confusion over the water.
Hey, there's always going to be fingers to be pointed out for whatever reason. But
yeah,
like I tell people, you know, if we only thing would have stopped that fire, we'd have had a tsunami. That's the only thing would have stopped
yeah.
it.
Appreciate it. You have a
That's it.
good one. We don't want to keep
All
you.
right.
Thank you
All
very
right,
See
much.
you
Dre.
later.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
Did you
Uh,
see Scott the dude's comment? He's still trying to get an Air 3S
see
delivered.
that here we go. I want to go back to that. That's another thing that scared me away from the Air 3S.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the biggest thing is I wanted that 20 megapixel. I don't
Right.
know why. I don't
Right.
know for the reason, but I wanted that 20 megapixel. Okay. And the new 4/3 is going to give us a 24 megapixel. You were talking about those. So, does the original Mavic 3 give us a 24 megapixel or was it a
But it
20?
was 20
I
megapixels.
think it was a 20. That's what I was saying. So, we're getting 24 megapixel out of the new one. But
But
yeah,
on the micro, but Bill, short little rant here. On the Micro Four Thirds side is I know some Olympus or OM cameras have a 20 like stacked, and some Panasonics have a 24 millimeter, and a lot of people claim that the 20 millimeter on the OM cameras is better than 24 in the Panasonics. So in the Micro Four Thirds world, there's no consensus that the 24 is better than the 20.
but we're talking about DJI and their technology. And as you can see right here, as Tom is pointing out, he's very glad that he got the Air 3S. So the internals, the mechanism that gets the image from the camera through to the card, that's going to be the difference. And I'm telling you right now, the Pro is going to be much better than we're considering because it's got to be a huge step up from the Air 3S in order to get people that have already bought the Air 3S to do just like I did when I first started following Billy and stuff. I had to have everything DJI. I had to da 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 da. Okay, so now I haven't. I'm not buying as much camera gear as I was. I'm logicking it out, and my wife has gotten to the point where she hates it when I have to sell my gear to upgrade, which is really cool. But a lot of my older gear is not going to get flown as much, so it's better to sell it, like you pointed out to me, Ron. You
Yep.
know, it's going to die if it just sits on my
Right.
shelf.
If it sits in my drone museum, eventually I'm going to go pick it up, and it's not going to work.
But okay, so here we go. Let's go back to what Scott said again. So, how long? Okay, Scott, type this in for me when you get a chance. How long has it been since you originally placed the order for the drone? Say, how many days from the time it departed Hong Kong, and then it went to Germany, then it's in the UK, and now it's finally departed the UK. Boy, it's really on the slow boat, ain't it?
Well, I think he's already had a couple stuck in customs. He's already canceled a couple orders. I
Can you
believe.
imagine?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott.
What now?
I said I believe Scott's already canceled a few Air 3S orders that have been stuck in customs.
Their advantage is the Hasselblad tech. Yeah, there was a new Hasselblad camera that just came out the other day. Did you see that?
I did not.
It's like it looks like a brownie, man.
Hmm.
You know the old brownies, but it's really, 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 really advanced. And I don't know the name of it. Oh, Sunday. Hey, maybe fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Maybe this one's gonna get there, man.
Well,
At least
on a
we can,
Sunday delivery of all things.
yeah. David, good to see you, sir. Glad to have you in the house.
Scott, how many Air 3S orders did you have to cancel that were stuck in customs?
That's
And
like
Bill, John Coopy said, I think it was Monday night that I don't know what he was referenced, but he said drone deliveries to the East Coast, and
it's
you
on
mentioned
the
New Jersey.
DJI
They're
website.
not delivering drones to the East Coast now.
There's like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, like three states, I think,
But
and
what
it's
did he
on
mean
the
by
DJI.
they? Who's they?
It's on the DJI website. It
Okay,
says that they're
DJI not
having
delivering
customs
drones.
difficulties with those particular states. We got one drone canceled and then one other. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Okay, so that's fingers crossed this one gets there. But I don't know what's going to happen once if it's going to come into the East Coast side of the country, then it doesn't look good.
So then I don't have to worry about the Mavic 4 Pro. Then I won't be able to get it.
You
I'm
just
in
go
New
to another
Jersey.
state. Yes, here we go. There we go. I knew Tom would throw
There
it
you
up
go.
there. I knew Tom would throw it up there. And it looks incredible, man. And it, like I said, it looks to me like an old brownie. You know what I'm talking about? The
Mhm.
old brownies.
Oh yeah, I used to play with a broken brownie when I was a kid.
Yes, I did too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a rite of passage when we were little because we
yeah.
didn't have cartoons on every freaking channel that we wanted. You know, because I remembered when I was little. Let's go ahead. We're gonna go Squirrel because
Okay,
we've been hunting for the Mavic 4 Pro, and I do have at least one. I have one streaming pick that I want to give out this week.
okay.
And I'm hoping Ron, you might have one, and then
I got a good one.
I have a recommendation of a program that's ongoing that if you haven't watched, you need to start. Okay, so when I was a kid, Saturday mornings was cartoon day, right? And that was when I always go stay at a friend's house, or they would come stay at my house because Saturday morning was the time, right? That was
Yep.
when you would do your. Let me cut this banner down. Okay, and that was
Basically, that's the only time you could see comics.
yeah. That was the only time the cartoons were on was on Saturday.
There was no Cartoon Network running 24
And then you
7.
didn't have the internet. You couldn't order new toys and new games literally to be delivered by Amazon every other
You
day.
couldn't stream a cartoon someplace on
No,
on
you
an
couldn't do any
iPad.
of that stuff. So you literally had to go out and get into things and do things. So yeah, let's see. Order Mavic 4 through Johnny Drone Flyer Logistics.
Johnny will get it to you.
That new camera supports 6K. Let's see. Wait a minute. Can I copy it here? I don't think I can copy it here because I want to go see this.
Ground cameras supporting 6K is not all that unusual now. Ground-based cameras.
Yes, but this is the camera that's been to the moon.
Yes, the moon camera, the moon shot.
The camera that's been to the moon. Come on. Where's it at?
And did you see USA Drone Flyers breaking some news for us? Apparent air crash in the Potomac River, Reagan National Airport closed to all traffic. Possible DC helicopter collided with an incoming aircraft. I hope that incoming aircraft wasn't a drone.
Oh no, man, that's terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
That's terrible. Let's see that. What is it? Is it was a tilt screen. Standard boxy form, yeah. Okay, like the brown. Okay, that's where I get that from. Because Ron, I'm telling you, man. Forgive me. It gave me a camera boner.
Bill, what's the price point on that
I
thing?
don't know. I haven't found it yet.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What do you say it was? The
X3D 150C.
X3D. Oh, what is it? All the
150C.
way up here? Oh my God! Like ten
Is
thousand
it
dollars for
sticker
just
shock,
the
Bill?
for just the body, man.
Is sticker shock? How does it compare to our drones?
Wow, man! Like I
Is it
said,
like getting an Aspire?
no, like we're talking just for the body alone is like between 8 and 10 grand
Oh, so it's like a
for the
enterprise
body, not the
drone.
lenses. The body. Let's see what the lenses run. Okay, not too horrible. 5,900, maybe. Here's 3,700. 37, 37. Oh, here's one for 1,000.
So Tom saying it's standard typical for four thirds Hasselblad. Tom, will standard four third lenses fit the Hasselblad? Like, can I get my OMD lenses on it?
Oh wow, that would be cool. What about what do they call it? Like you can get probably a ring that'll an adapter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I'm trying to think of that name for that thing.
but it's
There were
an
two, both
adapter.
stuck in customs. One released, the other got refunded, and
Let me go
we
tell my wife.
ordered one that's on the way.
Apparently there was some kind of plane crash.
So yeah, Scott, I know Minnesota must be like Miami as far as the customs agent stopping all those DJI drones. It's funny that the East Coast DJI said the East Coast of the U.S. isn't getting the DJI drones because I haven't heard of anybody in New Jersey, Pennsylvania having their drones stuck in customs. So yeah, I've since all this customs stuff has started, I've gotten the Air 3S and the little DJI Neo, shipped
Yeah, it's
directly
on
from DJI,
CNN
and
now.
neither one got stuck in
It's on all
customs
the news
on the East
networks.
Coast. And Bill is back.
It's on all the news networks. It's true. Yeah, it looks
It's
pretty bad.
confirmed.
So yes.
Yeah, it sounds like a tragedy. Well, maybe we'll have a better discussion about it next week when we know all the facts.
Yeah, and I really my thoughts and prayers go out to the people that were involved in all that, and hopefully
Exactly.
it comes out to be good news.
Hey, Bill, I forgot to mention on last week's show. I knew then. Did you see that Bill from Quinn Dynasty passed away?
Yes,
I
I
wanted
had
to
heard
bring him
about
up
that,
because
and
I
I'm very
know
sorry to hear that.
not only is a supporter of Drone Nation, but he's a supporter of this show too.
Yeah, he's been on all of them. Typical price. Oh, really? That's typical. Okay. Okay. Now, they're stuck in Illinois. That's a new state that wasn't mentioned.
Okay.
That's
So
kind of crazy.
the customs in Illinois is like for a lot of the country, the drone cuts they get stuck in the south someplace. Well, I know Miami, but it's another location in the south. They get stuck in customs a lot. I
Hmm.
used to get before even all this fuss started. Some of the Hubsan drones used to get stuck in customs.
Well, and the thing that was so wild was remember John and I got those drones from got what was it? He got was it DeMarco had both of them? I think it may have been DeMarco. You have to ask
The
John next time.
Hubsans,
I don't know for sure if it was I think it was DeMarco, and he had two of them for some reason. Maybe he won them from
yeah,
Kelly.
he bought one.
He bought one and won one.
Yeah, he actually at one point he had the one Kelly Shores used to crash on his videos. Used to do the Hubson drop or whatever. DeMarco wound up with that drone.
But yeah, John and I both got. John got one from him, and I got one from him because he gave us a killer deal. And as
Right.
far as I know, I think it's still packed away somewhere. I don't know for sure. I might have to check on that because it's been years, and I don't
Okay.
even remember how to. I think it's got the firmware flashed on it and updated on it and everything.
Well, I think that's the one. Don't up if it has new software. Don't update. I think like when everybody stopped flying, they put another firmware update out that kind of made it worse. So if you get
Okay,
it out,
yeah.
don't update it.
Well, I don't even have the piece to flash the firmware anymore. John
Okay.
made me this piece and sent it to me in the mail, and I
Okay.
don't even know where it's at now.
Well, you're probably good then. Don't update it.
Okay, so let's go to the point of we'll give our streaming recommendations. And
Okay.
I will give mine. I will give the one that if you haven't started watching it already, you damn sure should go start watching it. It's
Okay.
on Apple TV Plus, and it's
Oh.
called Severance. And if you haven't
Oh.
begun to watch it and you're not addicted to it already, you need to go start with season 1 and catch up.
I did watch season one of Severance. I haven't started season two just because I hate waiting a week. I'm going to wait until I get a few
Binge the whole thing
cracked
out.
up
Yeah.
there. Yeah. And Bill, I'm going to go a similar thing to you. This is also from Apple TV Plus. This is also season two, and I think this show is as good as Silo, maybe even a little bit better. I mean, than your Severance. I'm recommending Silo, which just season two is just ended, so you can stream both seasons.
We're watching. We've been
You
watching
can binge
Silo.
watch both seasons. I
It's
think
based on
Silo
that
is one of
video
the
game. It's based on that video game and the other series. It's on. Is it Hulu? What is it? Far, 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 far. What am I wanting to say? That stupid game. It's got the. Oh,
oh wow.
it's based on that game.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Well, let me
here's
just give them a little bit of better set up the silo. It starts off these people living in a silo underground, but they've been there so long they don't know how they got there. They don't know why they're there. Because they've been there down there in generations. But there's kind of a revolt going on. Some groups wanting to know more information, and
Fallout.
and if you do something bad, you get sent outside to clean.
Right. It's based on the and there's a series, I think it's on Hulu. Fallout is the video game.
Okay.
But it's more of a kind of the Fallout version is more over the top with, really over the top comedic characters and ridiculous. I don't know how to explain it, but Silo is much more cerebral, and I totally agree with you there.
And both
I,
shows, some people say, "Oh, I don't like science fiction," but neither show is really science fiction. Like especially Silo, the technology they're using Silo is dated. They're
yeah,
using
it's
like
old,
technology from the
yeah.
80s or 90s or whatever.
And if they
So
weren't in those silos, they'd be dead supposedly.
yeah, so I wouldn't really call it a science fiction show because
How far are
again,
you along in Silo?
I've completed both seasons.
Okay.
I watched the
You
first
know when
season
she
years
got
ago,
out
and
and
then
she went and found the other dude in the other silo, and then yeah, kind of really the wheels really started rolling then, didn't it?
I mean, lots of times you get to season two and there's a little bit of fall off. It's no fall off. Season two may have been better than season one.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's my other recommendation.
Okay.
It is on Peacock. It is a
Okay.
family movie that I think anybody would get. It's a great movie to watch with your grandkids. It's a great movie if you're a younger person and you have children. It's a great movie to watch with those kids. Is The Wild Robot
A wild robot. Huh.
on
On
Peacock.
the peacock.
On Peacock.
Huh. I have to keep an eye out for it.
Well, the way it starts out is there's this horrible storm, and the next scene is the next day after the storm is blown over, and it's kind of sunshiny and everything. You know how those scenes are. And then you see this broken case on the shoreline. And some otters get really curious and they go in and they find the on button. And from there on out, it's really, really cool. It's cute. It's kind of saying futuristic because the wild robot will say, like, let's say another 50 years from now, it's kind of like, if Musk starts pumping out his robots to be our assistants in our homes, it's one of those. And it just
Mm-hmm.
happens to have crashed out in the middle of the wild middle of nowhere.
Oh wow.
So that's how it starts out, and then the only thing that that the robot has to learn from is the animals and the life on. So that's how it evolves.
Cool.
So and it's really cool to watch, and of course it always has the particular point where the big bad company wants to come back and get their robot.
Now this isn't animated. This is live action.
No, this is pretty much animated.
Animated. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
animated. And also there's a couple of other movies streaming exclusively on Peacock. There's a horror story and something else that's also cool to check out. But I don't usually talk about movies that are family oriented. Like the last ones I was talking about was American Primeval on
Right. Which
Netflix.
I got that saved, but I haven't started it yet.
Oh wow, man! But they're saying that they might do a season 2.
Okay.
And here's the thing: I'm going to tell you. I know you got it saved, Ron, but you need to prepare yourself because it's very realistic.
It's a Western, right?
Yes, but it's very true to how things went on. Like the brutality and stuff is all there, and
Wow.
it's very very very. I mean, the thing I was cringing from some of the scenes. It was so
Wow.
intense. And then there's one or two scenes that you just really like going, I can't believe you're doing this on the show, man. I mean, because my wife watched it after I did, and when I got to this one particular scene, she heard me scream upstairs, and she's like, "You don't scream during." I was like, "I can't tell you, I can't tell you." And then it was no more than probably 2 weeks later. My wife was watching the very same series, right? And she gets to this point, I hear the scream, "Oh God, oh God, I can't watch, I can't watch."
Huh.
So I said, "See, now you know why I couldn't tell you."
Hey, on a lighter note, I'm going to give you a favor of 2024 streaming. This is also an Apple TV Plus show. It's called Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn.
Yep, you've.
And even if you're not a big Vince Vaughn fan, still watch it or whatever. It was one of kind of it's very unique, very different show.
Oh
And
wow,
oh
a regional jet and a military Black
wow,
Hawk.
wow,
Yeah, my wife was watching it on the news.
wow.
Yeah. Well, on that note, since it's kind of a sad note, and I
I'm a
don't really want to
downer.
yeah, we don't want to be a downer on it. Let's go ahead and we'll call it like 4 minutes early,
Yeah,
and
but
we'll come back
we're at the
next week.
126 mark here. We've been on for an hour and 26 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, let's say out of yeah. I don't
So I
because I
thought
feel
hit a
bad.
plane on CNN.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. It's kind of sad thing that
Thanks
happened.
for letting us know, Captain Joe.
There was 60 people. Yeah, thank you very much for letting us know about that. And they said there were 60 passengers. We don't know how many were on the helicopter. See, I hate that, man. I don't want to. Yeah, let's not start talking about that and have people flipping channels and stuff. I wanted to say thank you very much for everyone that's been here with us tonight.
Thank
And
you.
I'm grateful to have Ron Brown here each week that he is able to be here. I do know that Randy's probably going to be here a little bit less, and I know Angel's going to be here a little bit less. So maybe I'll be finding a couple more people to come on with me and Ron, and we'll see how that goes here in the next few weeks. With that being said, is Ron anything you got coming up for you that you want to talk about or throw out there?
Not really. Just I want to say, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for Dre for coming in as our guest tonight, and just thoughts and prayers for everybody that's got any people involved in that crash in DC.
Yep,
Good
and
night.
we'll see you next week. Live